Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom who loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. Some articles provide that in order to understand the Waco massacre, we have to know what happened at Ruby Ridge. Some articles provide that in order to understand the Oklahoma City bombing, we have to know what happened at Waco. Ruby Ridge was a siege that occurred after a neo-Nazi family went to live in the boonies. It sparked a major debate around the country with regards to the rights we have as American citizens. The Ruby Ridge raid occurred on August 21st of 1992. 3 people died. The Waco massacre involved a cult of former SDAs with a leader named Vernon Howell, aka David Koresh, aka the Sinful Messiah. During the 51-day standoff with the feds, Timothy McVeigh drove from Pendleton, New York to Waco, Texas in support of David Koresh. Timothy even brought pro-gun flyers and merch with slogans that said, "When guns are outlawed, I will become an outlaw," unquote. The Waco siege occurred on February 28, 1993, through what ended up in a massacre on April 29th of 1993. 86 people died. On the 2-year anniversary of the Waco massacre, in retaliation, Timothy McVeigh would be responsible for the Oklahoma City bombing of April 29th, 1995, where 168 people died. I've covered the Waco siege in a previous episode if you want to check that out. Today I'm going to be getting into the Ruby Ridge siege, and you bet your bottom dollar Oklahoma is next. Ruby Ridge is located 40 miles south of the Canadian border in Idaho. The Weaver family moved to this remote area in February of 1991. Army veteran Randy Weaver and his wife Vicki Weaver and their 4 children, 16-year-old Sarah, 14-year-old Samuel, 10-year-old Rachel, and 10-month-old baby Elisheba. They were seemingly living their best lives as a family in this community where the neighborhood has eggs and books you can take in the honor system. Using the honor system. The Weavers were devout Christian fundamentalists who believed that the end of days were coming, and one ought to go to the woods and live off the land, because when the apocalypse comes, the government will turn on you if you believe in Jesus. That was their belief. Randy Weaver was issued a warrant for his arrest after he missed a court hearing for a weapons-related charge. By the admission of the court itself, the date on the notice of the hearing that he received was incorrect. Because of this clerical error, one could argue that the warrant for his arrest was invalid. The only reason he got caught was because an undercover agent met him at one of his Aryan Nation meetings at the Aryan Nation's compound that was very close to them in Hayden Lake, Idaho. Randy tried selling the undercover agent a sawed-off shotgun. When the United States Marshal Service came to execute the warrant for Randy Weaver's arrest on August 21st of 1992, the Weaver family saw this as the book of Revelations in the Bible coming true. They got their guns and they were ready to meet the Lord. Around noon, 8 families totaling 30 people were evacuated from their storybook homes on Ruby Ridge due to this standoff with the feds. When the agents closed in on the family, they first faced 14-year-old Samuel Weaver, a friend of the family named Kevin Harris, and the Weaver family's dog named Stryker. A federal agent killed 14-year-old Samuel Weaver and the family dog, a yellow lab named Stryker. A family friend named Kevin Harris shot 42-year-old Senior Deputy U.S. Marshal William F. Deegan. After barricading themselves for 11 days, Wiki Weaver came out holding her 10-month-old baby without any weapons on her, and she was shot to death in the doorway of her very own home by an FBI sniper. Randy Weaver was arrested and charged for murder, conspiracy, as well as gun-related charges. Randy hired a criminal defense attorney, Jerry Spence, who effectively argued that his client's actions were a matter of self-defense. In April of 1993, by a jury of his exact peers, Randy was found innocent of all charges but the failure to appear on the weapons charge. He was fined $10,000, and the judge, Edward Lodge, sentenced him to 18 months in prison for credit for time served. He was in October and out by mid-December of 1993. Kevin Harris was also acquitted of all charges against him. During an aftermath hearing before the U.S. Senate Committee Judiciary Committee in 1995, Randy Weaver said, and I quote, "I am not a hateful racist as most people understand it, but I believe in the separation of races. We wanted to be separated from the rest of the world, to live in a remote area, to give our children a good place to grow up," unquote. In 1997, the Boundary County prosecutor Denise Woodbury charged FBI sniper Lon Horiuchi for manslaughter, and in 1998, the trial was moved to federal court as Lon Horiuchi was acting in the line of duty. Judge Lodge ended up dismissing the case on grounds of sovereign immunity. Kevin Harris and the Weaver family sued the Department of Justice in a civil matter that ended in a multi-million-dollar settlement. This is Randy and Sarah, but in 1999, Randy found love again. He was married to a legal secretary named Linda Gross. In June of 2007, Randy Weaver was showing his report in an unrelated tax evasion case and told the public, and I quote, "I ain't afraid of dying no more. I'm curious about the afterlife, and I'm an atheist," unquote. In May of 2022, Randy died at the age of 74. As of November 2024, Randy and Vicky's surviving daughter, Sarah Weaver, told the press, and I quote, "I went 10 years without understanding how to deal," unquote. Sarah explained that after becoming a born-again Christian, she had forgiven those who pulled the trigger. As a result of the Ruby Ridge siege, 3 people died, 2 people were wounded. Everyone involved and their generations to come are forever traumatized by this travesty. We've reached the end of today's episode of Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Make sure to follow me on all socials with the same handle. Call me, beat me at yayareahousewife@gmail.com with all case suggestions, questions, requests. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next episode. Adios.